Hey, sixth graders, this is for the week of January 25th through the 29th. This week, you're going to find surface area of prisms and pyramids. So let's look at some example problems, work those through together. Hopefully you have printed your problems and you are working along with me with the video, or you can go ahead and do the problems on your own and then watch the video to check your answers. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is just review plotting points on a coordinate plane. So when you have a set of ordered pairs or coordinates, you have two numbers. The first number, if it's positive, you always start at the origin. Here's the origin in the center. If it's positive, you go right. If the first number is negative, you go left. So always start at the origin. You either go right or you go left. And then the second number, if it's positive, you're going to go up on the coordinate plane. And if it's negative, you go down. And that's how you plot points on a coordinate plane. So let's look at this first ordered pair. Negative 5, 3, that means start at the origin, go left 5 and up 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put a dot right there. The second ordered pair is negative 5, negative 4. So I go start from the origin, I go left 5. This time I go down 4. The third ordered pair is positive 2, positive 3. So I go right 2, up 3. And then the last one is positive 2, negative 4, go right 2, down 4. And if I connect my dots, I have a rectangle, right? So the next, wish I could draw a straight line. That was ugly. There, kind of. All right, so now the next question is, what are the side lengths? So the top one, so 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that means if the top is 7, the bottom is 7. And then the right side and left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is actually a square, isn't it? So all the side lengths are 7 units long. So the next question is, what is the area of the rectangle? Well, you find the area of a rectangle by multiplying base times height. Or since it's a square, you can just get one side length and you square it. So 7 times 7, 7 squared. So this is 49 units squared. All right. Now, if I didn't have a coordinate plane and I needed to know what the side lengths are, I'm going to take 2 of my x values. So I have 2 x values, negative 5 and 2, and I'm going to find the absolute value of both side lengths. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. The absolute value of 2 is 2. And we're going to add those together. And I would know my side length is 7. And then the other side lengths, sometimes they're going to be different numbers, right? So then you take 2 of your y values. So all my y values are either 3s or negative 4s. And once again, I find the absolute value of each of those numbers. I add them together and I would find the other dimension. All right, let's look at number 1, the next problem. It says on a coordinate plane, the coordinates for vertices. Now, a vertice is just a corner, basically. The vertices for R and T for a polygon are, here we have. So the question is, what is the side length of RT? Well, if you notice, the y values are the same. So now we're looking at the difference between 1 and negative 4. Or in other words, we're going to add together the absolute value of 1 plus the absolute value of negative 4. So the absolute value of 1 is 1. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. And the side length is 5 units long. 5 units long. That is the side length. Number 2, if the area of a rectangle to be drawn is 20 square units, where should points B and D be located if they lie to the right of the points A and C? So the first thing we're going to do is say, okay, well, what is the distance between A and C? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units long. Now we want the area to be 20. So we're going to think, okay, if we're going to multiply the base times the height, so if 5 is the height, I don't know the base, but I know altogether I get an area of 20 squared units. I can just divide both sides by 5. And that tells me that the base has to be 4 units long. So a 4 by 5 rectangle has an area of 20. So it says the points, the other vertices lie to the right of A and C. So I'm just going to count over 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would be my other 2 points, my other 2 vertices. So what is this coordinate? So if I start at the origin, I would go right 1. So my first ordered pair is 1, and then from there I go up 1, 2, 3. So that's one of my coordinates. And then to get this one, start at the origin, go right 1. And from there I would go down 2. So these are my other 2 coordinates if it asks me for those. All right, moving on. Number 3, the coordinates are the 3 vertices of a rectangle. Identify the 4th coordinate and the area of the rectangle. Well, we have 2 that lie here vertically. So B and C are both horizontal. They have the same horizontal number, which would be a -3, right? The Y value is -3 for both B and C. So basically we have every one of our numbers are going to repeat twice. For example, the coordinate of A is -2, 2. B, we have -2, -3. All right, so we have 2 -2s, correct? All right, what about C? C, we have 7 -2. Oh, excuse me, 1, 2, 3. 7 -3. Now here's my 2 -3s. And then D, what would D be? We'd have to be 7 and then what? +2. 7, what's the only number that doesn't repeat twice? +2. So we have 2 7s, we have 2 -3s, we have 2 -2s, and now we have 2 +2s. So D's coordinate is at 7, 2, right there, to make that a rectangle. And the area of the rectangle, well, the distance between +2 and -3 is 5. And then the distance between -2 and 7 is 9. So now our side lengths are 9 and 5. So if we multiply 9 times 5, we get 45 squared units. All right. All right, number 4, polygon A, B, C, and D has the following vertices. What is the area of the polygon? Well, we're going to take 2 of our x values that are different. So our 2 x values are 4 and -2. So we want to know what is the difference, or what's the distance between -2 and 4. So the answer is 6. And then our other 2, this is wrong. I'm sorry. I meant to correct that. I knew that was wrong. I didn't mean to confuse anyone, but that shouldn't be a 0. That doesn't make a rectangle the way I have it written. But if that's a -2, pretend D says -2, -2. Well, then that tells me I have 2 y values. I have -2 and 3. So the distance between 3 and -2 is 5. So our 2 y values are 3 and -2. And the distance between 3 and -2 is +5. So the dimensions of my rectangle is a 6 by 5. And if I multiply 6 times 5, I get 30 units squared. Hopefully you guys are doing well with all these. All right, number 5, find the surface area of these prisms. So if we think about a box, so this is a box, right? So I think of it kind of as it has 6 sides and 2 sides are congruent. So we have 3 pairs of sides that are congruent. So I think of it kind of as top, bottom, front, back, and then we have side, side. That's kind of how I think about it. So top, bottom. So we want to know, what are the dimensions of the top? The top is a 15 by 21 and a half. So 15 times 21 and a half, or I'm thinking of 21.5. So I'm going to use my calculator. So the calculator says 15 times 21.5 is 322.5. And whatever the top is, that's what the bottom is. So we have 2 that are 322.5 inches squared. All right, what about the front? What are the dimensions? I have a 21 and a half by 8.4. So I'm going to do 21.5 times 8.4. So I have so the front is 180.6. And the back is the same thing, 180.6. And finally, we have our 2 side lengths. So the side is a 15 by 8.4. So 15 times 8.4 is 126. And the right side is 126 and the left side is 126. So finally, we add 126 plus 126 plus 180.6 plus 180.6 and plus 322.5 plus 322.5. And my final answer is 1,258 and 2/10 inches squared. That is the area of my surface area of my box, my rectangular prism. All right. Now the other 2 have triangles, correct? Those are prisms because all the sides are rectangles, but they're triangular prisms because the bases are triangles. All right, so make sure when you're finding the area of a triangle, make sure you're looking for that 90-degree angle. So for my right triangle, my dimensions are 8 by 6, but this one at the bottom is not a right triangle, so I have to use the height of 5 by 24. Okay, we're always looking for those right angles to figure out the dimensions of the triangle. So this triangle has this length of 10, but that's not my base or my height of my triangle. I have to look for a right triangle. All right, so for triangular prisms, we have 2 triangles, and then we have 3 rectangles. 1, 2, 3. So we could think of it as the bottom, I guess. What does it sit on? The back. And then this rectangle, this right here, I think of this as in the front. Okay, and of course, my triangles are always going to be congruent. So however you need to write it out so you don't forget any of the sides, okay? All right, so my triangle is an 8 by 6. So to find the area of a triangle, I multiply 8 times 6, which is 48, but it's a triangle so then I have to half it. So each triangle has an area of 24 units squared. The front is a 6.5 by 10, 6.5 by 10. So 6.5 times 10 is 65. Now the back is an 8 by 6.5, 8 times 6.5, which is 8 times 6.5 is 52. And then the bottom, 52. And then the bottom is a 6 by 6.5. A 6 times 6.5. So that's 39. And the last thing I do is add up all those sides. So 39 plus 52 plus 65 plus 48. and I get 104 units squared. All right. Now you guys try this one down here at the bottom. Pause the video, try it, and then come back and see what your answer was. All right, so I'm going to get rid of all my writing so far. All right, so on the bottom, we have the ends that are our triangles. We have two triangles, and then we have two sides. So we have two sides. This time our sides are congruent, right? These are congruent. And then we have a bottom. So two triangles that are congruent, two sides that are congruent this time, and then the bottom. All right, so the end triangles, we're looking for that 90-degree angle. So we're looking for 24 times 5, 120. And then, you know, if I was just thinking about one triangle, I would half it. Of course, I wouldn't have to half it. I would just write down 120 and know that that's both triangles. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is convert 4/5 to a decimal. So in my calculator, I'm dividing 4 by 5 and I get 0.8. So I'm thinking of this as 35.8. It's just easier to type in my calculator. So the side rectangle is 35.8 by 13. So 35.8 times 13 is 465.4, and there's two of those. And then our bottom rectangle is 35.8 by 24. Whoops, times 24. So the area of my big rectangle on the bottom is 859.2. Finally, I'm going to add up all that. 465.4 plus 465.4 plus 120. And my total surface area is 1,910 square inches. Hopefully you guys got the same thing. If you didn't and you think you're right, let me know. Let me know. All right, so finally on the last slide here, these are all square-based pyramids. Now, a pyramid is when all the sides are triangles. And in this situation, our bases are all squares. Prisms have all sides are rectangles, but pyramids, all the sides, or the faces, I should say, the faces are triangles. So we know that the bottoms are squares, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. All of these have 4 triangles because our squares have 4 sides. So our square, and then we have 4 equivalent triangles. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is find the area of our square on the bottom. So we're doing 0.7 squared, or 0.7 times 0.7. So the area of our square is 0.49 feet squared. And then what is the dimensions of the rectangles? Triangles. Remember, we're looking for that 90-degree angle, and they give it to us right here. So they're saying the base is 0.7 and the height is 8. So a very tall triangle, 8 feet times 0.7 feet. And then it's a triangle. So what are we going to do with it? We're going to half it. So each is 2.8, but then we have to multiply it by 4 because there's 4 of them. So for all 4 of them together is 11.2. And then finally, we're going to add the area of this base plus 11.2. So 11.2 plus 0.49. So the area, the surface area is 11.69 feet squared. All right, did you guys get the same? All right, over here we have a square, and then we have 4 triangles. All right, so our bottom is 0.5 times 0.5, which is 0.25, 0.25 inches squared. And then we're going to use this height of 0.4 times the base of 0.5. So 0.4 times 0.5 is 0.20, but then it's a triangle, so we half it. So each area is 0.10, and we multiply by 4 because there are 4 of them. So that's going to be 0.40, 0.40, or 0.4. And then finally, we add 0.25 plus 0.4, and we get 0.65 inches squared. Very tiny little pyramid. Not even a full squared inch. All right, and then the last one, we have 1. So our square at the bottom is a 1.5 by 1.5. So we're going to multiply 1.5 times itself. So we get 2.25. And then we have 4 triangles. And the height of these triangles is 3, and the base is 1.5. So we're going to do 1.5 times 3. And for one triangle, we divide it by 2. So each of them are 2.25. And then we're going to multiply that by 4, which is 9. And then 9 plus 2.25 is 11.25 squared centimeters. So guys, that's what you're doing this week. You're working with a coordinate plane. You are then finding the area, the surface area of prisms and pyramids. You're going to do a, let's see, I'm looking at your problems. So Monday, you're working on the coordinate plane. Tuesday, you're watching this awesome, fun, wonderful video. Wednesday, you're looking at surface areas of prisms. Thursday is surface area of pyramids. And then on Friday, we're going to meet. Oh, no. Well, we can meet Friday, but you also have a Delta math assignment on Friday. Okay. I'll have to figure out what time we're going to meet. I'll post it on the module. And then next week, we're going to have a practice test on Monday. We'll Zoom on Tuesday to review, and then your unit test will be on Wednesday. All right, guys. So if you need my help, let me know. Thank you for watching the video and doing what you're supposed to do. And I will post what time our Zoom meeting will be as well. All right, you guys, have a great week, and I will see you soon.